Hello, welcome to Simply Liminal. My name is Stacy. This is my daily two-card reading for Wednesday, June 5th, 2024. And because it is Wednesday, I just will say this is the last day that we're working with this deck. Now, this is the second time in less than a month that I've worked with this deck. It's a new deck for me. I got it just before I went to New Orleans at the beginning of May. I carried this deck with me while I was in New Orleans. It traveled around the city with me. It heard music. It smelled food. It was in nature, in the parks. It was in cemeteries. It was by the Mississippi. It was by Bayou St. John. It was by Lake Pontchartrain. And all of these energies are absorbed into this beautiful deck. The author of the deck, Fatima Mboj, is a native of New Orleans. Geez, I hope I'm saying her name right. And she says this about the deck and her development of it. She says, New Orleans is a place that inspires people to discover, accept, and fully express themselves. And this oracle was developed to help us listen to our intellect and intuition and to help our self-trust grow. So that is how she developed this deck, and really expressing the city that she grew up in and loves so much. I have been to New Orleans multiple times. I fell in love with it on my very first visit, which was in 2000, so pre-Katrina. I've been there many times since Katrina. The last time I was there, just, at the beginning of May, I was actually visiting with a cab driver. He was a local. He's grew up there, raised his family there. And when I told him that my first visit to New Orleans was in 2000, he said, "Oh, you know the real New Orleans. You were here before Katrina." Of course, it's still the real New Orleans, but that affected it, that changed his people. But I just felt really grateful that I had indeed experienced the New Orleans before as well as the New Orleans after. And I'm really grateful that I found this deck, that the internet really led me to it, and that I have got it and have found such beautiful, beautiful, beautiful guidance and readings from it. So that's why I'm working with it twice in such a short amount of time, because I felt so connected to it and I felt so drawn to share the message in it through the author. So as always, when I do these readings, I look at two cards. I look at the energy card, which is the force that's directed towards us from the universe, from the world around us. And then the focus is our intention, our effort, or our response that we put back into that energy. And all but one day, I shuffled just like this, a slide shuffle, and I've been pulling the top two cards, and that is what I feel inclined to do today. The one day I didn't do that, I still had a beautiful reading, but it just felt not quite right. So I went back to feeling with what felt right. And the one thing that she does mention is this deck is about self-trust and listening to our intuition, as well as our intellect. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to look at our energy card for today, and we're going to look at our focus card for today. And as always, I will read from the deck intuitively, but I think it's very important to read the message that the author has put into the oracle card book itself, because her insight is incredibly important. I also want to mention before I flip these cards that the new moon is tomorrow, and I believe the new moon is in Gemini, so that's always interesting energy, air energy, the Gemini twins. So you see a lot of duality, yin and yang, behaviors that feel almost contradictory. That is Gemini, and it can be intense, and it's a sign that's ruled by the planet Mercury, or the planet Mercury. So guiding us with communication, energy, interesting energy coming for us for this new moon. The new moon is tomorrow, but I always look at the new moon stage as being 3 days long. So we have the day before, the day of, and the day after. And so today is when we are moving into that, the end of one lunar cycle and beginning another. So pay attention to the new moons, pay attention to the full moons. They are important in our lives. So let's go ahead and take a look at our energy card for today. We have self-care. This card popped up to us 3 times this week, and always in the energy position. We need to pay attention to this. Over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, this card came up twice, right in a row in the same position. Self-care. It is important. And it's telling us if we didn't take care of ourselves over the weekend, like the deck was trying to encourage us to, I'm telling you again now, excuse me, self-care is important. Let me take a drink of water really quick. So let me read from this yet again, because it is so important. It popped up to us 3 times this week and in the same position. Self-care. It is time to put your focus on taking care of yourself in the most basic of ways. Pampering yourself with a long bath, taking extra time about the food you put into your body, getting enough rest, and simply taking some time for yourself is fully recommended right now. You are close to running on empty, and it's taking a toll on you more than you realize. Sometimes self-care can be as simple as learning when to say yes and no at the right moment, based on how you feel. Take this time to care for yourself and notice how quickly things start to fall into place in a much more effortless way. So I don't know what that's going to mean for you all. I know I feel like I've been running on empty for at least the last couple weeks. And I really, since I went on my trip to New Orleans, which was a beautiful gift, but you know, you do so much to get ready for a trip, to make sure everything's okay with work and home and your animals or your kids or your life when you're away from home. And then when you come back, like I did, I just went to work, and then I went to work, and then I went to work. And now it's been another long weekend of work. Well, not really a weekend, but like, cause we're moving out of that now, but I kind of did a weekend, then I had a day off, then back to work. So I have a day off today, and I think maybe I'm just going to take some time for self-care. I'm just going to let my intuition guide me on what that's going to be, but today is going to be a day of self-care for me. And I hope you all can do that as well, depending on your schedule. Even if you only have, you know, half an hour to do something for self-care, do it. Take a nice hot bath, or take a cool bath, or soak your feet in some lavender water, or do something that makes you feel better and helps you rest and recharge. So let's take a look at our focus card for today to see how we're going to work with this energy. We have spiritual knowledge, and this card also came up for us earlier in the week. It came up for us in a different position. It came up in the energy position, not the focus position, but this card also came up for us a couple weeks ago in our readings. But this is a beautiful card, and it's talking about spiritual knowledge. And so perhaps for us, spiritual knowledge is the path to self-care. So let's read what the guidebook says about this card. Here we go. And again, I love this artwork. I like the patterns. I like the replication of the colors. I like that there's duality in it, that there's patterns. It's a beautiful card, and I think it indicates that spiritual knowledge has multiple influences, and we all take multiple paths to get to where we're going, but eventually the focus is here in the middle, getting there. So here is what the card book says. Spiritual knowledge can be gained through a multitude of experiences and teachings. During this time, you will find clarity and guidance through being open to different types of spiritual teachings. It is not necessary to tie yourself down to just one teaching, but rather to go where your energy leads you. After all, spirituality and connection are not things that can be summed up in just one book or practice for everyone. Take what resonates with you and creates a peace within you while keeping your mind open to everything. You are likely to find that you are drawn to bits and pieces in different teachings that will lead you to your own organic spiritual connection, experience, and understanding. And so in this way, I think by taking these spiritual paths, you are going to find your path, not just to your spiritual self, but to those moments or experiences of self-care that are important to us all. So I hope you found this reading helpful. I hope you connected with it in some way. I would love to hear what you think about this deck. Again, this is the New Orleans Oracle deck by Fatima Mboj. You know, I just found this on the internet and it got shipped to me quickly. So if you're interested in this deck, please look it up. You will not be disappointed. I get nothing for saying that. I just am very drawn to the card deck and the author, and I'm grateful to her for putting this deck together. So I would love to hear what you think about the deck. I would love to hear what you think about the readings. Please like, please subscribe, please share. Thank you, everyone who's been coming faithfully and watching readings every day. I'm grateful to you all. I just really want to continue to be able to help these messages spread to people, not just about this specific Oracle deck, but Oracle decks in general, and how it is a great way for us to connect with our spiritual self with our divine creator, with our soul, as it were, and help us become more. So thank you so much. My name is Stacy. Thank you for visiting Simply Liminal with me. Have a beautiful day.